The JuRY Daily program during Travel Week is brought to you by, of course, everybody who supports us at payjurydaily.com, as well as all the hot new merch that will be available on Black Friday. I can't do a Brack impression from Space Ghost. Can it be Brack Friday? On Black Friday, this Black Friday at Stickers or DIAF. New merch from this show, Politics, and Night Attack, available this Friday. But I've been talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Oh, ladies and gents, clear out the vents. It is Travel Week. Here in the United States of America, this is the busiest travel week of the year. We celebrate Thanksgiving. That is a signifier for us here in the good old US of A, for us to get together, gather, be with our families. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be here. I did my travel. We have traversed this great country to go visit our family over the last month and a half. So we are going to be spending Thanksgiving here. But I know many of you will be traveling. And in fact, you're probably going to want to save up on podcasts, because this is the week where you need podcasts more than ever. So I'm going to do my best to please give you guys travel-related content all week this week. In fact, I just, if I had actually thought of this more than 30 minutes before we started the show, then we might have even had a guest today. But I'm going to see if I can get some guests today. Some of the folks that I used to travel with the most, John Teasdale and Brett Rounsaville, among them. Hopefully they'll be able to peel off some time for us. But nonetheless, we kick off this, the first inaugural JuRY Daily.
All aboard!
Travel Week.
Yes, friends, Travel Week begins today, and I'm going to start by just absolutely ethering some bullshit that was propagated in one of our nation's most trusted newspapers, the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal put out an article that I'm not even going to link to, number one, because it's paywalled, number two, because I believe it's audacious horseshit. I believe it is an awful article. I believe it is bad. I believe that this is fraudulent, fake news. This is news the likes of which, when we categorize in this modern era of us rethinking indeed what is media, nay, what is the truth, I believe that it is articles like this that in a historical context we will come back to academically and say this was Orwellian horseshit. For only when you can truly convince the masses of the untruths, that red equals blue, that right equals wrong, that we have always been at war with Eurasia, can you soften the minds of the proletariat and throw upon them the yoke of autocracy. And where does this begin? Where is the tip of this spear, friends? Well, I believe it is here in the Wall Street Journal's best of the big airports list. These are the top 15 airports by size and, I guess, traffic. What they did, the Wall Street Journal, pure though in their aims. Again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So I think that they came at this in a pure of spirit mindset. What they wanted to do was find what was the most tolerable of the airports that bear the biggest brunt of our travel necessity. So many of you will probably fly through some of these airports, including Boston, LAX, Charlotte, Seattle, Tacoma, Las Vegas, Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, Phoenix, Orlando. Now, I can talk about all these. And I can give you the pros and I can give you the cons. And I will admit that my criticism of this list will not include one of the major elements that it was weighted on. And that is that these airports are all fairly affordable. They all share the similarities that they are major hubs for multiple different airlines. Therefore, there is a price competitive nature that makes them better. They all have tremendous amenities. And they are necessities to the modern traveling person. And again, many of you probably going to use these airports. Where I will draw the line, where I will say in my best Keith Olbermann, for shame, sir, resign, sir, is when you go through this entire system, you piece together, data point by data point, a top 10 list of the best airports in America, and atop your list, despite your best intentions, is the cackling rat king, the pile of shit on the American landscape, quite possibly the front of a literal cult, the Denver International Airport. They crowned the Denver International Airport as the number one, the best of the big airports in America. Look, I just flew out of Orlando. Orlando's got a lot of problems. For instance, if you accidentally miss your turn to get into the appropriate terminal that you're supposed to go to at Orlando, it is no less than a 45-minute turnaround. Phoenix is, although very close to downtown, a very shoddy airport, although it does sport the best the best/worst carpet in any airport. The Phoenix airport carpet is one of two things, neither of which are good. It is a plane going in a circle. At its most charitable, it is a plane trying to circle the airport as it makes its way in for a landing. At its most awful, it is a plane in a death spiral as it crashes to the ground. At its most absurd, it's a plane that's landed in a gigantic toilet and is now circling the drain. Atlanta is similarly slammed. Dallas-Fort Worth is an airport that is desperately in need of a renovation over the last 40 years. Vegas is pretty good. I actually like Vegas. But Denver, oh my fucking God, Denver International Airport. Here's what I will tell you about Denver. There is a phenomenon common in airport architecture wherein you are segmenting off certain nodes. These oftentimes correspond with airlines. So you'll see like a hallway, right? Imagine, if you will, kind of like a comb, right? One spine and then many teeth sticking out. This is done for a reason. Because you are, in general, usually come through TSA around the middle of it. And then you wind up going to the exact node that you need. And then you only walk down one hallway to get to where you need to go. For whatever reason, the Denver International Airport has forsook this traditional thinking. They instead decided that they were going to make all of their gates on one gigantic hallway, therefore creating any and all possible connection opportunities through Denver to be a tremendous crapshoot. Either you are going to be at a gate that is right next to yours, or you are going to have to walk the literal length of the airport to get to your gate. It is nothing but one long continuous hallway that has no differential, by the way. It's not like that there's like color coded, that you're like, oh, I landed in blue, I got to make sure that I go to red. It all looks the same. It is a fever dream. It is an M.C. Escher painting come to life, created, animated as a hellscape for any kind of traveler. The audacity that the Wall Street Journal would dare to put this as the #1 best airport in America is just ridiculous. And that's before we even get into the whole conspiracy about the fact that the Denver International Airport may or may not have actually been built by been built by cults. So here's what I need from you guys here on Travel Week. I need for you guys to write in for me either things that you are dreading coming up on this, the busiest travel week of the year. I need for you guys to send me your travel hell stories. I know for a fact that there's plenty of y'all that got some travel hell stories. I need you to send me your worst elements of traveling, not just air travel, rental cars. Oh, here's the other thing about Denver. It's fucking way out of town. Like, part of the things that went into this score that the Wall Street Journal gave them was how fast it was to get into town. It is not close. The Denver International Airport is not close to downtown Denver. In fact, it's weird. It's like in the middle of this, like, I mean, it's obvious it's in like the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, so it's actually kind of pretty to go through it. But it gives you some like Dothraki vibes because you're driving into there and there's like a gigantic horse statue. It's weird. I was incensed, and it's funny. Brett, I got to get Brett on sometime this week, but Brett too can light up the Denver International Airport. It is universal, and granted, the biggest reason why I hate the Denver International Airport is because I had to make so many connections through there because it's a United hub. And so in general, you're usually either connecting through Houston or Denver. That's pretty much it. Those are your choices when you're flying United, specifically when you're flying out of SFO. If you're going east, you're connecting in one of those two cities. And to get on the plane, normally with my old job, I used to have to carry a lot of stuff with me. Effectively, when I was traveling for business, you can't really risk having crucial shit being checked because you never know when stuff's going to get lost. I very rarely had stuff lost, but I would normally check my clothes and I'd bring on all the equipment that I really needed to have on me. Oftentimes, this meant very heavy roller bags that were communal within the business and therefore were beat to shit. The wheels would oftentimes be, raggedy. Gigantic, heavy roller bags of cell phones in children's lunchboxes. This is just what we had to do. And so nothing is worse than realizing that you are at the end of the fucking Hogwarts Great Hall, the like football field and a half length that you have to go, that you're in 79A and you got to get to gate 2. And by the way, your plane started boarding as you were landing in the Denver fucking International Airport. Here's how long the Denver International Airport terminal is. There's 2 United clubs in the center of it. You can go to a United club, get out of the United club, and then you're walking for so long that the airport's like, fuck it, here's another United club. God, I fucking hate that airport. Send me your travel hell stories. JuRYDaily@gmail.com. If you want to go ahead and write it down as a YouTube comment, please do that as well. All right. We have a ton of high thoughts. We're going to have a great Thanksgiving high thoughts, Thanksgiving-sized high thoughts this week. So please keep writing those in, JuRYDaily@gmail.com as well. But here are the rest of the emails. We continue with our Stan Lee biopic casting. Considering Stan Lee was in his 40s when his career really started taking off, I think the obvious casting choice is for an older Stan to be Mallrats co-star Jason Lee. I have no idea what sort of grizzled character actor you can get for Kirby, though. Oh, that is good. Jason Lee can play dork. See, everybody else kept sending me all these cool guys. We don't need cool guys. We need dorks that become cool. More Stan Lee casting. RJ Jackson writes, I'm probably late to the party, but I know I'm going to throw out an angle where the Stan Lee biopic casting that I don't think anybody has mentioned. They're going to have to wait quite a while to make the movie, partially out of respect, but also to acquire the life rights to him. Then to make sure that they put butts in seats, they'll have to cast an actor who is both younger and popular at the time it's being made. So I'm putting my money on the idea that the future Stan Lee is somebody that we haven't even heard of yet. Well, all right, but that's betting on no action. That's not really fun. And then one final thing here. Today, according to Patreon, is Thank You Patrons Day. So I want to take this moment to thank you. Let me make this perfectly clear. I'm going to spend a lot of time this week recounting stories, tips, tricks of a life on the road for about 4 years of my life. I spent professionally traveling. That was a great job. It was a really, really, really good job. It was an awesome company to be a part of. It was hard to leave there. And as I've said before, there's really 3 stages to quitting your job for your hobby to kind of go independent. 1 is realizing that you're making money on your hobby. That's a great feeling. 2, realizing that you're making as much money on your hobby as you are with your square job. That's a great feeling. That's an amazing feeling. In fact, that feeling can very often sustain you keeping both for a long time because it feels like you're cheating. Like you just gave yourself a raise by doing things that you liked. The 3rd and final phase is realizing that you don't want the money you're getting from your straight job because it's not worth the hassle. You'd rather put more time and effort into the hobby, which is now making as much, if not more. So all 3 of those steps, to me, were aided by Patreon. It doesn't exist without Patreon. The shows that I am doing right now, although certainly well regarded amongst you, the viewers and the listeners, the support that you guys have given is absolutely insane. This is not a show that is got the audience for broadcast ads. It just doesn't. When you look at CPMs, that is cost per thousand, M equals 1,000. That's how you sell podcast ads. You need several M's to make that add up. Like you need a lot of M's. I don't have that many M's. I got a good little bit of M's. I don't have that many M's. I don't have enough M's that $5 or $3 really kind of stacks on top of each other in any way that means anything. Patreon bridged that gap. You guys connected with me through Patreon in a way that fundamentally changed my life. So I hope that can put a little layer in between this, that all these stories I'm going to tell over the next week are going to all be about travel hell. Tips. Man, we got some tips for y'all. I got tips on how to save money on baggage. I got tips on when to fly. I got tips on how you can maximize where you're going. Tips on tips on tips, right? That being said, I'm very glad that I don't have to do that anymore, and I have nobody but you folks to thank for it. So, on Thank You Patron Day, I would like to say thank you to the patrons. All right, everybody. That about wraps it up for us today. I want to thank our grand jurors selected today. It is the Jen, PD Rave, Non-Specific, Rock and Roll Martian, Joe Acosta, whoa! Redneck Tech, and James. I want to implore all of you to please sign up for our mailing list on Stickers or DIAF, bit.ly/stickers or DIAF. New merch coming out this week for this show, for politics, for Night Attack. Exclusive merch for all three. Go ahead and get it. bit.ly/stickers or DIAF. You can email the show, jurydaily@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @JustinRYoung, and of course, join our Discord at bit.ly/jurydiscord. Folks, until next week, till tomorrow, it's your old pal Justin Robert Young reminding you to please give a round of applause to Mr. Wacky. And please, don't die!
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.